Have you ever wondered why, no matter how many productivity hacks you try, you still end up breaking your promises to yourself? You wake up motivated, you plan your day, but somehow by evening, your focus is gone. Your plan? Forgotten. It's not because you're lazy. It's not even because you lack willpower. It's because of tiny, almost invisible habits that quietly chip away at your discipline every single day. And the worst part? They seem harmless. They feel normal. But together, they slowly train your brain not to trust your own decisions. So in this video, we're going to uncover 7 small habits that destroy your discipline. And more importantly, how to fix each of them in just 1 week. By the end, you'll understand why staying consistent feels so hard, and how a few quiet changes can make your focus feel unbreakable again. Let's start with the one that almost everyone underestimates. You tell yourself, I'll start in 5 minutes. But 5 minutes becomes 10, and suddenly half an hour is gone. This habit doesn't just waste time. It teaches your brain that you don't mean what you say. Every time you delay action, your self-discipline weakens because your brain starts to expect excuses instead of execution.
The fix? Use what I call the 2-minute rule. When you catch yourself saying later, do the task for just 2 minutes. Open the book. Write the first line. Start the workout warm-up. 9 times out of 10, momentum kicks in, and before you know it, you're already doing it. It's not about forcing yourself to work harder. It's about proving, even in small ways, that when you say now, you actually mean it. It feels innocent. Just a quick scroll before you get up. But here's what actually happens. Your brain gets flooded with dopamine and distraction before it's even fully awake. You start your day reacting to other people's priorities, not your own. This single habit trains your mind to chase stimulation instead of focus. And when it's time to do something that doesn't give instant rewards, your brain resists hard.
The fix? Keep your phone out of reach for the first 30 minutes after waking up. Use that time for something grounding, stretching, journaling, or even just sipping your coffee in silence. You'll be shocked at how much calmer and more in control your mornings feel, and how that discipline sets the tone for your entire day.
You show up for your boss. You help your friends. But when it comes to your own goals, you let them slide. We're taught that breaking promises to others is bad, but we rarely think about what happens when we break promises to ourselves. Each time you skip your own plan, you're quietly teaching your brain, my goals aren't that important. The fix? Start treating personal commitments with the same respect you give external ones. Block your own goals on your calendar. Write them down as if they're appointments. And when you complete them, even something small, acknowledge it. It sounds silly, but that small moment of recognition rebuilds your internal trust. Remember, discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about believing yourself. Every yes to something unimportant is a silent no to something that matters. When your schedule is filled with everyone else's tasks, your own goals get squeezed into leftover time, which means they almost never happen. And slowly, that teaches your mind, my priorities can wait. The fix? For 1 week, practice the slow yes. When someone asks for your time, pause before you answer. Say, let me check and get back to you. It gives your brain space to decide, does this align with what I really want this week? Discipline often isn't about doing more. It's about protecting the energy for what actually matters. Let's be honest. We all sacrifice sleep at some point for work, study, or late-night scrolling. But here's the truth. A tired brain can't be disciplined. Lack of sleep doesn't just make you tired, it actually weakens the part of your brain responsible for self-control. You become more impulsive, more distracted, and far more likely to give up when things feel hard. The fix? Set a reverse alarm. If you want to sleep by 11 p.m., set an alarm at 10:30. Your cue to start shutting down screens, lights, and thoughts. You'll notice it's easier to stay consistent, not because you're stronger, but because your brain finally has the rest it needs to function properly. Videos, podcasts, reels, they feel productive, right? But if all you're doing is consuming motivation instead of applying it, you're stuck in what I call the inspiration loop. You get that little dopamine hit from watching others succeed, so your brain thinks you've already done something. And then nothing changes. The fix? For 1 week, set a rule. For every 30 minutes you spend consuming, spend at least 30 minutes creating or acting. Watch a productivity video? Apply one tip immediately. Read a self-improvement post? Try it that same day. Motivation should be fuel, not a substitute for motion. Here's something most people miss. Discipline doesn't come from working harder. It comes from noticing what works and what doesn't. When you don't take a moment to reflect, you repeat the same mistakes. And every failure without reflection slowly erodes your belief that you can change. The fix? End your day with a 2-minute check-in. Ask yourself 3 simple questions. What did I do well today? What didn't go as planned? And what's one small thing I'll adjust tomorrow? It's short but powerful. You stop judging yourself and start coaching yourself. That's how discipline becomes self-awareness, not punishment.
Now, a quick warning. When you start changing these habits, you might feel frustrated at first. You'll notice how often you delay, how easily you scroll, how many promises you quietly break. Don't mistake that awareness for failure. That's actually progress, because the moment you notice, you regain control. The goal isn't to be perfect in a week. The goal is to start noticing the small choices that used to happen automatically and change them one by one. That's what builds real discipline. Not punishment, not guilt, but awareness plus action. So let's recap the 7 tiny habits that destroy your discipline and the simple fixes you can start today. Just 5 more minutes. Start with 2 minutes instead. Checking your phone first thing. Delay it for 30 minutes. Breaking promises to yourself. Treat them like appointments. Saying yes too often. Practice the slow yes. Neglecting sleep. Set a reverse alarm. Over-consuming motivation. Balance it with action. Skipping reflection. End the day with a 2-minute check-in. Each one might look small, but together, they quietly define whether you trust yourself or not. Here's the truth. Discipline isn't something you're born with. It's something you train through the small choices you make every day. And the good news is, you don't need to wait months to see the difference. Even 1 week of intentional focus on these tiny fixes can completely shift how you feel about control, consistency, and confidence. So this week, pick one habit from this list and fix it. Just one. You'll be surprised how much your self-respect and your results begin to grow. If this video helped you, share it with someone who's trying to build better habits too. And if you're ready for the next step, watch my video on how to build focus that lasts all day. It's the perfect follow-up to this one. Thanks for watching, and remember, discipline isn't about forcing yourself, it's about trusting yourself, one small choice at a time.